Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 3 o'clock. Welcome to the Carver Earth Removal Committee meeting for January 6, 2026. Happy New Year to everybody that's here. I see we have a very large contingent of students. Thank you very much for all being here. Hope you'll take something away from this meeting. And I hope you do, in fact, get extra credit for it. So I do appreciate you guys being here. So if everybody can silence their cell phone, we don't need any more noise than we're going to have. I'll recognize the board members first, and then any audience participation if necessary or required. Please keep your comments to yourself. Keep all the chatter to a dull roar. In Area 58, thank you for being here as usual. Really appreciate it. They will be recording. Is there anybody else that's going to be recording here today? I love it. Okay. Anybody that is going to speak will ask you to come to the table and sign the sign-in sheet just so Susan can get your name spelled correctly in the minutes. It'd be super. All right, well, to the board, thank you very much for being here, and Happy New Year to you all as well. So we will, first of all, this has become an absolute matter of importance for this body. For those of you who have been here before and or watched this on TV, we are really in desperate need of volunteers. We have 4 members of this board currently. If one of us is sick, absent, or needs to be recused, we do not have a quorum. So that is in fact a problem. We are a 7-member board in the bylaw. And regardless of how many actual people we have here, it takes 4 to have a quorum ever. So if we don't have a 4th person, we really can only discuss things. We can't vote on minutes. We can't vote on anything. So we really need some help from the people at home or the people in the audience. So with that, we'll move on to the minutes. You guys all get a chance to review the minutes?
Sure did. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mike? Any discussion on the minutes from anybody? Susan, thank you so very much. I do appreciate them. They come out great as always. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have 4-0. Thank you.
No, I'm just going to make the fact that I did read over the minutes and I did watch the taping twice. So I concur that all the minutes are as documented.
Okay. All right. As we've done in the past, the first Tuesday of the month is when we meet. The next potential meeting date would be February 3rd at 3 o'clock in this room. I will tell you all, I'm not going to be able to attend. So, with that, do we have another date, or do you just want to push a month, or what's your
If you have
pleasure?
another date that month, that would be okay. I know we run into a holiday, probably the 16th, which is a Monday.
So I could do the rest of the month, the 10th, the 17th, the 24th, doesn't matter to me.
I'm good. The
Do you want
10th.
to try for the 10th? Mike?
10th? 10th?
10th. Work.
Jen, does that work with you?
I will not be here on the 10th, but I can have everything ready for you guys.
Okay. Susan?
There's a potential conflict, but the time might be okay.
Okay. All right, so the 2 important people,
Do you want to move another date?
I'm wondering if we want to move to the 17th.
Okay.
Does a 7, that's fine.
17th work for everybody?
Does for me.
Jen?
That's better.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll do that.
Amy, sorry to have looked past you previously, but,
Okay, I think the 17th is fine.
okay. It's always better when the full team is here. I don't know about Agent Pike, what his schedule is, but his written report seems to be pretty comprehensive this month. So
Yep,
17th?
that's fine, the 17th,
Okay.
February 17th at 3 o'clock.
You got it. February 17th at 3 o'clock. And Jen will shoot for this room as well. And if there is a conflict with this room, we can move, we could be banished down to the basement again if we need to be. Okay. All right. Site visits. We think we're gonna need to be out over the winter.
Can we make that decision at the end so that we can see what goes on?
Yeah, we can do
with
that.
the projects that are in front of us tonight?
Yeah, we can do that. Right. Okay. So February 17th is our meeting date, 3 o'clock in this room, meeting room 1. And we will discuss the potential site visits at the end of this meeting. Remind me, because I will have forgotten, I'm sure. Moving on to the bills payable to O&M. Mr. Woods had sent me an email, asked if I wanted him to be here. I did not respond to him. I did not think it was necessary. We've had him here several times. The bills, to me, looked very normal. There was nothing out of again, normalcy, I guess, is the best way to put it.
So I'd make a motion here that we approve the expenditure of $3,819.79 for operations and maintenance for, that we received from the town.
Mr. Schwartz, can I have that amount again, please?
$3,819.79.
Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. I believe that this is still flowing out of the money that we had appropriated previously.
Okay.
This is still out of that kitty.
Yep. Okay. If it's not, I will let you know, or John will let us all know. But I believe it's still in that appropriated amount of money that he didn't use from the couple of projects ago. So, all those in favor of approving the $3,819 signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. We have 4-0. Okay. Agent Pike had issued a written report. Again, I had said it looked fairly comprehensive. Obviously, we did not do a site visit this past month, which he has noted here. He did one unannounced drive-by visit to 59 Federal Road, and I'm reading here, so I apologize to those of you that don't have this document. One unannounced drive-by visit to 59 Federal Road, observing that the road area entrance showed a moderate accumulation of debris. Appears to be a mix of normal road debris and some from soil removal at the site. Needs to be cleared. He did another unannounced site drive-by visit to the western site, the rear of Plymouth Street. Observed that the road entrance area appeared to be kept clean of debris. And then a third unannounced drive-by at 104 Tremont Street. Observed that the area where the permit holder reported that a 10-foot cutback would be made at the Tremont Street entrance with a new asphalt apron installed in response to complaints of potholes forming at the entrance. The permit holder has in fact made a cutback and installed a new asphalt apron approximately 30 feet back or more. Great job giving trucks a large apron area with a gradual slope transition area from the roadway. And that was respectfully submitted by Robert Pike at the end of the year. So that is the agent's report. He's not here. He told us he would not be here, but he is obviously out looking around for us, doing his due diligence for us, which for that I really appreciate. I know that he's had a lot going on, and we all have over the holiday season, so it was good to see him out doing his thing. Anybody have any comments for that? Mr. Pike will probably watch this, that's why I'm asking.
No, I don't have any comment.
Well, so this was done on a Tuesday, December 2nd, which is good to know that the date that he did it on. My question to this would be when he felt that 59 Federal Road needs to be cleared at the end, like
Clean.
cleaned up. And I know that they do their cleaning usually on Saturdays unless there's a lot of heavy material being taken off the site and there's a lot of accumulation at the road entrance, that they'll have the sweeper come a little more often. So could that time frame just could have been like the day with the weather and more dirt was dragged to the street and they didn't get a chance to come and clean? You know?
Yeah, without him being here,
Right.
I would love to tell you that I could answer in his behalf, but I just can't.
Because for the most part, they do try to keep up with it, is what I'm saying. And if not, they always, I know some of the other sites, the people are very conscientious about going out and looking and to make sure that the road is kept cleaner than normal. So I just wanted to say that it was done on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he's saying that our ERC meeting was on that Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
He made site visits since the last
He
meeting.
actually didn't date, well, he has 12/27/25
Right, so I don't,
as the,
As is submittal to us.
but that is something we probably want to ask him to do, is if
Yeah,
it's the
to-
dates down that he actually went.
well, especially if you're not here, to make it a little clearer for us.
Sure.
Because the 27th of December was a Saturday, and I know from what we've seen on our site walks on Saturdays that Federal
They-
Road is usually cleaned on a Saturday, so I just don't want to give, I want to give credit where credit's due.
Cool.
Should we perhaps table the
I think we just,
approval of it?
I think what we should do is,
So we have some questions answered?
yeah, just when Mr. Pike is here next time, we'll just talk to him about this particular site visit and,
Just for clarification.
yeah, that's really all it is. And again, it's hard when somebody's not here. So, but again, he's been out there doing his due diligence,
Yeah.
which makes me very happy.
It is great.
All right. Jen, I sprung this on you a little bit ago, but if you could enlighten the board and the audience a little bit as to how our updated terms for us board members have been going, and you and I can help the audience or the board understand what's going on.
Yes, I got this from Elaine. She had updated everything. It looks like Michael Harrison and Roger Shores, both of you guys, your term expires in 2026, so this year. And then Judy Richards, yours is 2027, and Scott, yours is also 2027.
Okay.
And then that leaves 3 open.
How does it work when our term expires? Are we off? We have to reapply?
I don't think you have to reapply, I think you just have to go to the select board.
They sneak it past the goalie is what they do.
And, you just have to get reappointed.
Right.
I'll find that out.
Yeah.
Get resworn in.
It's okay if I don't.
So it ends, from my last recollection, is that our terms end with the fiscal year as well. They end on June 30. So 2026 of, June 30, 2026, Mike and Roger, is the end of your term, if you will. It's more of an evergreen type of a situation, that, like Jen just said, you have to be reappointed and resworn in. Town clerk's office does that, Jen?
Yes.
So, not a big deal. What really this came to light with John Mason this past year, he started looking at it, and his term was up on the June 30th deadline. That's when he stepped back and just did not ask to be reappointed. So that is really how it works for us. They're 3-year terms. Again, it's kind of an evergreen thing with a reappointment and a re-swearing in every 3 years. What's weird is that Judy and I came on the board at 2 very different times. A year or so apart, we're on the same time frame. What that really means is that when you get appointed to this board, you are filling somebody's vacancy, which has this is the way I understand it, and Amy and Jen, you can help me. I filled a seat that had been vacated, and I ended up being 1 year longer because of that, because that person's term before me it just weirded out, and we weren't really keeping a very good track of that. So with a little bit of prodding from some of us to the select board office and understanding this, I think it's really important that everybody knows when you decide to be a volunteer and come and work for a town board, that this is some of the things that happen without you even knowing it. So the one thing we did talk about is just a little bit administratively before this is Jen is going to put together a little bit of a new member packet for the earth removal committee. So any new members come on, they can kind of understand this at the time of coming on, not later on in life. So I think that's very important, just to understand where we all are. So that was the reason for this to be on the agenda for today. So thank you all for bearing with me. Everybody, all the board members good with that? Anything else to add?
Just remind the people that we do have some openings, a grower and/or contractor in construction industry, and somebody appointed by the Board of Health.
So I think I'm the construction industry person. Roger is
I'm a grower. I
Yeah,
think
the-
there's two
Oh,
growers.
gotcha, all
right.
right.
There's two
Gonna-
growers, though, I think.
Right, there are.
growers.
Yep.
And I'm a selectman's appointee,
Selectman's
so
appointee.
you really don't have to be a person in the industry
Right.
in order to be on the board.
Very good point. And I think the select board has got 2 or 3
They have
appointee positions.
But one's open.
They have three, so we have one select.
So you're a
board.
select board appointee as well? So we've got one, but the Board of Health also has a select board appointee position here, and that's why we lost Bob Bentley.
Correct.
Yeah, we need a board of health, a grower, and a select board.
Right. So, thank you. Okay. Moving along here, project update for 104 Tremont Street and the truck logs. Mr. Diamond, thank you for being here today.
Thank you guys. So I emailed, I believe Jen, I emailed the truck count. I have something a little more up to date that only carried us through early, mid-December on this.
Yep, that's good.
If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna ask you to maybe share amongst.
Yep, perfect.
Third page, I know that I'm gonna get some audience members.
Yeah, let's do
that.
I'll share with Judy.
So last time we had spoke, you were giving me the temporary additional 20 truck trips per day
Yep.
pit, which I thank you. You can see that everything's going well so far, and it's doing exactly as I'd hoped it would do. It is assisting in the fluctuation of what we have going outbound to help keep the project on track. As you can see, nothing's exceeded the 70 loads per day. There's actually some days where it's well below the original 50. I apologize for not averaging it out. I didn't have enough time to do that, but everything's been going well.
Last page.
December 31st.
So, Mike, it looks like that you've only had 1 day at 70 from,
Yeah, I mean, yes.
yep, so,
Like I said, it's been kind of up and down, which is, like I said, the seasonality of the project.
yep,
It's gone anywhere from, you can see, low 20s up to 70, kind of up and down. Per your request, Saturdays, we didn't exceed the original truck trips per day.
Thank you.
But it's all noted on there very well. Like Agent Pike said, we did rectify the asphalt apron at the beginning of the road. We actually did 40 feet. We had a guy from in town, Puma Paving, did that. He did a lovely job on it, kind of made the trucks approach. We flattened out the top, so it kind of gave them a little better vantage point when they're looking left and right out on a Tremont Street.
good.
So that's all set. And that's pretty much it. We haven't had any issues. As far as I know, we haven't had any truck issues, neighbor issues, dust issues, et cetera.
Okay. I personally have not heard anything from the police department. Obviously, Agent Pike is not here. He'd be the one that would get those complaint calls, but typically that stuff trickles right up. Have you heard anything about?
Haven't heard any.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess what I would be asking for at this point is if you guys are comfortable with, there's been no issues thus far extending the additional truck trips per day to 70.
Well, I think that, excuse me, I think that was exactly our intention, is to do that 3-month trial to make sure that everything, A, went according to plan. There was no, make sure that there were no emergencies, no undue hazard to the traveling public, such like that. With your truck counts and, obviously it was fall time, so it's not just the winter time like it is right now outside with snow and what have you on the ground. I would think your fall is probably some of your busiest times of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And you can see I actually backdated prior to when the additional trips were granted, just to kind of give you an idea of the ebbs and flows of, material going outbound.
So, like I say, I mean, the idea of this whole operation, when you asked for it from the board, from my remembering, was that we wanted to try to trial period, just to make sure that we weren't having an issue. I don't know if you guys have heard anything. I've already asked that once, but,
No.
so at this point, I think what Mike is asking, and he asked this previously, is that we extend this to 70 full-time,
Yeah.
not on Saturdays.
So I'd make a motion to do that, Scott, to update the order of conditions, number 4 in there, to the maximum number of truckload trips per day not to exceed 70 versus 50,
Monday through Friday only,
Monday through Friday,
and then there's still the,
50 on Saturdays.
all right, so is that the end of your motion?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mike? Further board discussion?
Just that if something does go wrong, we can always modify it again and knock them back down. So-
Right.
So my question is, when are you extending this to? Like,
Through the project.
Through the end of
I'm-
the, through the end of the permit.
Through the end of the permit.
okay, and the permit is on its going
Second
into
year.
its second year. How does that work in with the 4 additional extensions that's written into the order of conditions? I'm just trying to figure out.
So how I would view that is that
Yeah.
we have annual permits that, based on the board's discretion, we don't have to have them come back in yearly. I would say it's through the end of the permit of the 5 years.
Well, their timeframe was a 3-year timeframe. That's why I'm,
And it looks like we wrote the order of conditions as if it's the standard, the way it's written in the bylaws, that
They have to
we
come-
can go
To the
up to
5.
4 times
Right.
okay.
to
And
extend it.
But they're only good for 1 year, and they have to be re-looked at the end of a year.
At the end of a
First,
year, we
okay.
make the determination whether to extend.
So we have a professional here with us that can answer that very question for us. Amy, if you'd like to weigh in, that'd be super.
I'm not following.
Okay, so in the order of conditions, they have a 50 round trip,
Yep. And they're asking for that to be modified.
correct?
Yep.
But also, under condition 12, it says the permit is valued from 1 year. The date of issuance of the permit is subject to extension annually for up to 4 additional extensions upon approval of the earth removal committee.
Right, so 5 years total.
Right, but then the time frame is only a 3-year permit on the application.
Well, that was the
That's the
application asked.
The
application,
Right,
modification.
okay.
but
So
not
when
our,
is this extended to, from 2024?
To 2029, which would make it 3 years.
3 years.
So that's how you get to the math.
And they still have to come before the board every year for an extension? based on the bylaws?
And their extension would be for that, for the number they're asking.
Okay, for now, okay, I just wanted to clarify all that.
So every permit is like that, right? Regardless of truck trips.
Correct.
It's a single-year permit with 4 extensions on it in the bylaw. Okay?
All of them get the 4?
That's what our,
That's
that's what our
a stan-
bylaws
That's a
states.
standard
The 4-year.
boilerplate for the bylaw.
Okay, under the order of conditions.
Right.
Okay. I just happened to notice that they already had been permitted for the extensions.
So the the permit's good for a year. If the board deems it necessary, we call the applicant back in on an annual basis, only if the board deems it necessary. If everything else, by our site visits and everything is going according to plan and we're satisfied, we don't have to call them in.
Okay. So who's gonna rewrite the orders of conditions for the truckload?
Is that something, Amy, that we can have Jen
Yeah.
amend?
You're gonna amend that, the original
Just amend
2024
this?
decision.
Yep. And then we'll sign, we just
At the next
re-sign the,
meeting.
right.
Resign it and put it in the file.
We clear?
Clear as day.
Now I am.
Okay. So, we're still under discussion here. Jen, what we'll ask, if this does get approved, we'll do the 70. You can amend the permit with truck trips, Monday through Friday, and 50 on Saturday. You can get us that document, we can sign it at the next meeting. Amy, that's correct? Okay. So, we've had board discussion about this. I know I'm gonna kick myself for doing it, but is there anybody from the audience that wants to speak on this?
Of course, sure, why not?
Attorney Sheehan, I'll give you a couple minutes if you'd like to sign in, that'd be super.
Sure.
And please keep it to the truck trips, your comments.
Okay, my comments. So at the last meeting, Attorney Questle stated that she believed that a public hearing was necessary to amend the permit. But you obviously didn't have a public hearing last time, and you're not having a public hearing now, so you're amending the permit. So that, in our view, is an illegal permit amendment. To go back to what's going on here, as was pointed out in our wetlands appeals, etc., you approved a permit for 19 acres of cranberry bogs. This is a 47-acre sand and gravel mining operation. You've been out there, you've seen it. It's supposed to be approved in 3 phases. When Pontiff came in February to approve moving from the first phase to the second phase, you all deliberated and prevaricated and decided that you really couldn't tell where the cranberry bog was, but you still allowed him to move to the second phase, even though you have no documentation of substantial completion. Then you went out for a site visit, Mr. Handula, in June, and you filled out a site inspection report that said that because apparently they had expanded beyond the 4 acres for Bog 1 in Phase 1 of the 5-phase project, that they needed to come in for a new permit amendment, which Pontiff then did. Came in here in August, I believe, with a plan that said amended plan showing the actual area of excavation for Phase 1, Bog 1, showing that it extended far beyond the original footprint of the so-called bog. You said, no, we're not going to amend the permit, and you let him go ahead anyway and continue to expand, and you called it a lay-down area or something to that.
So, I'm gonna stop you here, and I'm gonna answer a couple of those things that you've just talked about. We did in fact have them, we were out there at the site. It was substantially complete. When you heard the testimony from the applicant, wanted to get the trees cut, we let them cut the trees, and then we had them not move any soil off of that till we were substantially complete, which they complied completely with. Then they asked for a larger footprint of the bog, which was not on the plan, which I believe Attorney Questle told us that we would need to have had an open meeting or a public meeting at that point, because it's a modification of the site plan, which they, again, opted to not do. Hold on, I let you speak. As the plan showed, a laydown area from jump. So that's where they're back to. That is exactly how it's gone. The bog, well, that bog 1 in phase 1 is very much substantially complete. They're moving material off of phase 2. As they go through that, we'll make sure that, like I've said in the past, we hold their feet to the fire. And they've been doing a great job, in my opinion, as to how this project's been going. They have done everything we have asked. They've come in, they've asked, we've accepted or denied some requests, and that's where we are today.
So can I respond to that?
Very briefly, because Mr. Diamond's been patiently waiting.
Well, the public's been patiently waiting for answers to the question of why you approved a 19.6 acre cranberry project when, in fact, it is a 46.5 acre sand and gravel operation. And you have let them, go beyond phase 1, which is 4 acres, a 4-acre cranberry bog, and it's over 11 acres now in that so-called phase 1 area. You just said that you denied the permit amendment, but then you let the excavation happen anyway. It's all shown on Google Earth. You can see where they mined into the aquifer, and in December, you approved phase 3, so now we have 37 acres of sand and gravel mining and not a cranberry bog in sight.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Diamond?
Yeah, actually don't have much to say after that. We're doing the project exactly per the original plan. That's the simplest thing I can say.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor of 70 truck trips per day at 104 Tremont Street, Monday through Friday, and 50 on Saturday, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? We have 4-0, thank you. Mike, thank you very
All
much.
right, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right. All right, so we're on to the next project update, which is for AD Makepeace at 59 Federal Road. I see Mr. Madden and Mr. McVeigh and Mr. Gibbs in the audience here. If you guys would like to come up and sign in, if you would, that'd be super. And then we can, if you'd like, you can relocate some chairs so you can sit. Thank you. Thank you both for being here. At our last meeting, for those of you that were not here, there was a site visit a month and a half ago or so. And there was some questions after the site visit about not seeing any cranberry bog dug out, cleared out, whatever. And we wanted to make sure that the 59 Federal Road site was in fact in compliance with the permit, how it was issued. That's where we are. At that point, we the board had a very good discussion, I will say, as to what we were looking for from the applicant. And Mr. Madden was here, he was instructed, I guess is the best word to say, to go home or go back to the office and do some homework for us so that we can further understand this permit and the compliance side of it, because 3 of the 4 of us sitting at this table were not present when that permit was in fact issued. So With that, I know I asked to have all that information gotten to town council, of which I've been informed today that nothing's been brought to her attention as of yet. So we could be better informed as to what compliance issues there may or may not be. One of the other things that came out about the discussion was in fact the end use of the property. Right now, we've got a very large sand pit floor. I said it at the last meeting, I'll say it again. The Cranberry Village residents have been very patient with this project. And we're not seeing a cranberry bog built. So end use is where we're going to be discussing today, as well as compliance with the current orders of conditions. Okay?
Sure.
Have at it.
Sure. Mike McVeigh from AD Makepeace Company. Didn't have the opportunity to attend the last meeting, did watch the video a few times. Just at the outset, where we're going to talk about all the items here, but we are in compliance with the existing order of conditions. But the first thing I want to talk about is the two order of conditions that Attorney Questle brought up. That was the first time that myself, Bill, anybody in our company had ever heard of another order of conditions. So we searched our records. I called the town clerk, Bill called the town clerk. We got everything that she had. We don't have this, what Attorney Questle had called order of conditions number one, the one that sort of is like a summary,
Sure.
I would say. That's number one. Number two, there was an issue about how the plan submitted didn't meet the order of conditions amounts. It's my view, I think, that when, and this is reflected in the minutes from this meeting. I wasn't at this meeting in 2020. I don't think a lot of us were. But in the meeting minutes from 2020, Bill mentions to the then chair, areas on the plan will be referred to as phases in the order of conditions. So when it talks about phase one in the order of conditions, I think it means area A. When it talks about phase two, it means area one, but it means area one on the plan that had been originally submitted, which was for 4,045,500 cubic yards, and not the revised or updated plan that I think Attorney Questle mentioned was the only plan she was provided, which is for slightly more, about 100,000 more. Just want to get that out of the way. I'm just going to go off my notes. I know that you had asked basically for some clarification and for some color. I'm going to try to provide that as I go down here. This is from the chair. Was there a requirement for substantial completion of one phase before going on to the next phase? Simple answer is there's not. The simple answer, as the order conditions is written, is there was a requirement for the applicant to notify the earth removal board that we were moving on to another phase. And as my understanding is that we have done that. It's not the best written order conditions I've ever seen. Okay.
Now you can see our confusion.
Yeah, and so there's no substantial completion provided here. Residents from Cranberry Village, probably the most sensitive topic, I think, in this. We, as the chair is aware, we regularly meet with the entire board of Cranberry Village. We've definitely satisfied and I think even exceeded the requirements for this permit relative to clearing of brush, plantings, notifications. So I think that's been taken care of. Timeline. So there is no substantial completion, and it is reflected in the minutes. Mr. Garrettson asked, the chair at the time asked, how long will this project take? The answer provided 5 years ago was 6 to 7 years. That's still essentially the timeline that's reflected in the minutes that I think I was given from the town of Carver's website. Through the holidays, we asked Bill if we could generate a reasonable timeline to get something that we could give to you tonight. I think we have that. Bill, if you want to talk about the timeline to get going on the bog.
Sure. We went through and looked at what it was going to take to actually build the cranberry bog sections. There's 4 sections shown on the plan. Each one's a smidgen under 5 acres. There's been excavation that's occurred in 2 actually 3 cranberry bog sections, 1, 2, and 3. A small amount in 3, and then the 4th phase of the work up against Cranberry Village. That site's been mostly cut, but there's no excavation that has taken place on that 4th phase. So what we've come up with is we're talking about the first section closest to the solar site. That one has been excavated a little bit more, more than the 3 other bog sections. And what we see in that section is that it's going to take roughly 9 months to complete that cranberry bog section, the first one. So that would be to excavate out the remaining amount of material, which I think it's a little bit north of 160,000 yards to get there. And that would bring us down to to elevation 90. That's the way this plan was developed. We were removing bulk earth down to a specific elevation, and then it was planning to go in there and then construct the cranberry bog acreage. So right now, what's been taken out of there is a fair amount. I don't know, I forget what the phase on the...
We're roughly halfway through. I did not bring the sheet that I wanted to, I meant to, but we're roughly half, by our internal calculations based on the quarterly payments we make to the town.
You're halfway through
The allowed cubic yardage.
okay.
Yeah.
the project as a whole, and some of that material has been removed, does not occur on the footprint of the bog.
Okay.
It occurs in the landing areas, the areas that we've set aside for maneuvering space, equipment buildings, things of that nature for the future, and also to lower some of the grade so that we can introduce water to our little irrigation pond and tailwater pond. So anyway, we figured that we've got roughly a little bit north of 160,000 yards to move out of that site, and using the 50 truck trips a day that we're allowed to take out of there. We figure that it's about 9 months worth of effort to remove that 160 and build the bog. And there'll be some work that'll need to be done with the bulk earth removal, like at let's call it the west end of the site, where the bulk earth removal is still needed to take place. That could be done, but on the east side of the site, that's when they could be excavating out the footprint of the bog to place the confining layer, the organic layer, the planting sand, and actually build the cross-section of the cranberry bog up to the finished grade, which I think we show as elevation 86 on the drawings. So that's what we see being required to complete that one section. Well, that section. Then going further, I think you wanted to know the timeline to complete all the 4 sections, if we had that?
So again, what we're looking for as a board is the end use of the project to be done. So if you're gonna leave it a sand pit floor, it's not an agricultural permit, right? Just not. So you came in with a plan that has got 4 bogs on it. I wanna know when we're gonna have cranberry bogs and seeded slopes.
I think if I can, I think the first, there's a lot of material. The first bog, 9 months. The second bog, 10 months. After the 9 months. And when this was presented in 2020, a lot of us weren't here. But
True story.
It was presented as get all of it to a adequate floor, then build the bogs. Obviously, that's maybe not as palatable in this room as it might have been then. So what we're here to say is that we're going to build that first piece, subsequently build the second piece, and 9 months, 10 months, so within 2 years, those two sections of the 4-section bog will be complete.
So let me ask you this, okay, and this is just, we are in a working meeting here, and that's what this is, okay? Had this third Permit Extension Act not happened, what would you guys have done at the end of 2025? Come to us and said, here is our as-built with no bog on it?
We would certainly have come before this board.
Do you think that the board would have just granted it? And that, don't answer that. I'm talking, what I will tell you is we're gonna speak about what we can do to make sure the end use is in fact getting done. And there might be some teeth to this one, and this might be unpalatable to you guys, okay? The simple fact of the matter is, we need to see progress, not just loaders hitting the bank. We need to see cranberry footprint. We need to see confining layers like Bill just talked about. We need to see dike roads in place. There is a very large footprint there that is flat. It's alarming when we when we drive in there. It's quite alarming. To see no effort made to create a cranberry bog. No wonder why the public's pissed. I don't blame them. So when we roll in there as a committee to see this, and that's why we're talking about compliance. Are you in compliance or not? That's what we're talking about, and that's why. Because when we drive in there and we see a very large flat floor without any bit of cranberry, construction, confining layer, dike roads, it's a problem. Okay? Just so you guys are aware. That's where we're coming from. The questions from this board are exactly that. When are we going to see a cranberry bog? Now, I just heard 9 months. You're gonna miss your planting window for the spring, I would suggest. So, that'll give you a very short window to get the second bog planted and the third bog planted in this kind of time. Because you will be coming back in front of us for another permit without having any earth moved off site and no cranberry vines in place. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Anybody else from the board have any comments for the two of them?
It would have been nice to have something more than what we saw when we went to the site visits this past year. And I feel for the residents that live up in Cranberry Village, that what they had endure and still are enduring, because they still have to listen to the trucks go by. It's not like it's cranberry picking season and it's only a seasonal time that they hear a lot of trucks. And I'm kind of not sure of what I would do if I knew more of what this project was supposed to be. And to hear that it's going to take 9 months to a year to put a bog in, we were told that last year, that there was going to be a bog there, and there still isn't one. I don't know. It's just not very forthcoming of a big corporation to not do right for the residents.
Mike, Roger?
Not at this time.
All right, so when we were last here with Mr. Madden, we talked about needing some plans for us. Can you make sure that we have sets of plans, please?
Yes.
So, I think what's the typical set? Is it 8 or 10 sets, typically? Well, I'm hoping for more members. We're gonna need some, we're gonna need some.
Well,
Yeah.
9 is what we, 9.
These.
All right, so
What-
And
just
and
talking
we
about these, right?
apologize because.
I'm talking
we
about the
had-
engineered plans.
Right.
Yeah.
And we apologize because again, we weren't on the board and when plans are given out, there was no real holding place of where the information was kept. So I've
We
gone
don't have the
through our
plans.
closet
Oh, you
100
want the
times.
application plans?
I want the
We don't
plans.
have 'em.
I want
We
the
don't-
plans that were approved.
We don't have anything that somehow they,
Not so much a current plan, but I want the approved
The
plan.
original application.
Right.
Okay, that's not a problem. We have the original application plans
Yep.
plus the original application. We did submit a revised set of plans in June as well.
can we get the
Yeah.
3?
Pardon me?
Can we get all 3?
June
No,
of
there's
last
only
year?
two.
June, you mean
What about
June
the
of
original?
2020?
June of 2020.
Okay.
Yes.
So which is the approved
latest
set of
plan.
plans for the project?
Those are the original plans dated February 14th of 2020.
So
Those are
that was the approved plans for that.
It's my view that the approved plans are the one that Attorney Questle referenced last meeting, which is the most recent, we'll call it the revised plans.
Okay.
Slightly more.
Those are June 29th, 2020.
June 29th, 2020.
We have those.
We have.
I have them.
You have a copy of that plan.
I must have, because they're on.
So
the timeline, yeah.
I only need 8 sets now.
And just, Mr. Chair, I just want to mention, we are applying now for the water withdrawal permit, which we know will take some time to feed these boxes.
Which phase is that? That's for a water hole you're digging?
Correct, it's referenced in the plan.
Okay.
The one that's there already down in the back side,
I
where you're
don't,
gonna put the contractor buildings or your barns?
It's-
Is that
Could be
area?
south of that.
south of that, yeah.
Okay.
So where are we in the phases of the project itself? Like,
The work that's being done right now is between we'll call it the southeast, western side of phase 2, phase 3.
and there's
And
how
that
many,
was done-
how many total phases are there?
There's 5 total phases.
And so you're on 2 and 3, so cutting virgin earth you're at in between two, like 2.5.
We're physically like these lines are sort of irregular. We're on the western side, and that was done to reduce the amount of wind. We had some issues with dust blowing towards Cranberry Village, so it's almost as far away from Cranberry Village as you can be. But that may change now.
And the other 150,000 cubic yards you need to take off is from phase 1 or phase 2, or whichever phase that you need to build the cranberry bog on?
It's for for Cranberry Bog, section number 1, there's 160,000, a little north of that needs to be removed. Bulk excavation that needs to be removed so that we can excavate to grade for our confining layers, organic layers, and planting layers.
Is that in phase 1, phase 2, or the portion of phase 3? That 150,000 is gonna come
I
out
think it's
of?
phase 1.
That was phase 1.
So I think,
Well, yes.
so you're way behind on the project in essence.
Yeah.
Well,
You're years
there's
out.
work being done in phase 1, there's activity that's been done in 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's been a little bit in other phases, because we didn't have that condition to move.
All right.
'Cause
Attorney,
that's what we're requiring of all our permits now, is
well,
to
that's.
complete
right.
a phase,
Understand.
move to the next phase.
And this is why we're here to talk about compliance, right? Compliance predates us, 3 of us anyway. So that's why I've asked the attorney for the town to help us in this unraveling, if you will, of exactly what's going on and how this is gonna go. So Amy, if you could give us a little bit of color, as much as you can, please.
Sure. It was my understanding, and I also watched the video and just read the minutes, that they were instructed to provide me with documents prior to today. I don't have any documents. I got nothing.
Yep.
And now I'm being told that apparently one of the orders I looked at was a fake order or something. I don't know. And there's numbers being thrown out, I can't write them down quick enough. I need to know, I need all of the information that I requested at the last meeting. My biggest concern is there's a discrepancy with numbers as to how much they are allowed to excavate. So that's my first concern. I think I made that very clear at the last meeting, that the numbers don't match up. They just don't match up. And then the timing. So, this permit expires, and Mr. Chairman, you are correct, because of the Permit Extension Act, the permit expires on August 12th of 2027.
Right.
Conveniently, 9 months for the first bog brings us to 10/6 of 2026. And then 10 months for the second bog brings us exactly to 8/6, 2027. So
But
first.
then there's
so
2 more bugs after that.
After that.
That's my whole point.
Right.
That's my whole point, Mr. Shores. There's 2 bogs after that. So they're sitting here today saying they're in full compliance, but they're only gonna get to the 2 bogs. This has been, they have to produce an agricultural use, or they are a commercial earth removal operation that is not allowed in this zoning district. They would be subject to zoning compliance. So, they have a permit, they have an open permit, they're working under an open permit. I agree that they are subject to the Permit Extension Act and that this permit doesn't expire till 2027. But I think we were just told unequivocally, they will never be able to finish the 4 bogs by August 12th of 2027. And so the question is, what went wrong? Because you got 3 extra years, or 2 extra years.
Right.
And again, what went wrong, they can talk about how much they've excavated and how much more they have left, but I don't have a number. I don't know what number they're operating under. We have a plan set that talks about a total of 4,104,000 cubic yards. We have a permit that talks about 4,045,500, and then we have another permit that talks about 5,185,300. So
What is it?
I don't know, and I don't know why they couldn't get this information to me, and we're just presenting it here verbally.
Respectfully. May I, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what I got from the town clerk. This is all we've ever had. I asked Kara Dayhill to send this, and she sent, this is what I got. This matches everything we've ever had. I'm not
So
trying
what
to.
is that? What does that say? How many total cubic yards?
It's
if I may,
it's
Mr.
what you,
Chair?
can I hand it to him?
Yeah.
4,015. 4.
So this is the one that's 5, this is 5,185,300.
Say again?
This is 5,185,300, because it is, right?
No.
That's the total, so it's,
So we're going by our long sheet right here, and it's, the information that we as a board are given is very incomplete. Permit number 100, I believe that's the one we're talking about, right?
76.
Permit number 76.
See, you have.
We don't
different
have that on our
numbers
long
than we
sheet.
have. And
Okay.
you have different numbers than we have. even
So,
on your-
and it's not you guys, it's a
Okay.
town
It's a-
thing. So you're operating under a different scenario than we are. So we're like a computer, right? We're garbage in, garbage out. We're getting garbage information in. And on this long sheet of ours, the approved yardage is 358,200, which is,
that's on this permit that he
and that's
just handed
permit
me.
100.
That's phase 1, but then you have to add phase 2, which is 781,600, okay? So if you add those together, you only get 1,139,800.
Right.
But the plan set dated June 29th, 2020, says the total's 4,164,000.
As does the permit approval?
No, the permit approval is only for 1,139,800. And if this is the permit that they're claiming is the real permit, the only permit, then I think they're way over 1,300,000. they're way over that number. This is why none of this makes sense. This is why they needed to get us this information.
And trust me, that's why I asked for it last month. So,
But I guess we got it from the town of Carver, and
But if it's
look,
for 1
If
million-
there was a document request, it's my fault. I didn't catch it when I watched the video, I apologize. It's not Bill's fault, it's my fault. And we will certainly get you anything you want. There's no intention to deceive here. I got it from the town clerk.
so what we have to do is we have to, again, unravel what's gone on and how we're gonna continue. Because we can't leave it like it is, okay? Right now, everybody's in a murky, muddy, watery mess. We can't see clear. Bill?
Okay. I think where I think some of the confusion's occurring is with the terminology of phasing. We've never, when we made the original application back in February, we never called anything a phase.
Okay.
We called things areas, area 1, 2, 3, and 4, and area A. Area A was inside the solar. Area 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 were areas outside the solar that were
Okay.
gonna be solely for cranberries. So we called them areas. The way the plan was developed originally is that we were to excavate area 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down to elevation 90. Then we were gonna go back in and build the bogs. So it was a bulk earth removing project initially presented to the earth removal committee to get us down to an elevation. Then, once we were down to that elevation, we're gonna move in and construct each cranberry bog section.
You can see this new board's confusion with that, yes?
Yes, now I mean, with the way.
This is my world, this is all I know, I can't speak for my predecessors.
But Mr. Chairman, what was just handed to me, I have this, but what was just handed to me is, there was an application. This application is dated 5/18/2020. You're saying there was a February application. In front of me, I have 5/18/2020.
No, I said the plan was dated
Oh, okay.
February.
So it says here, volume of earth to be removed, 4,045,500. And rate for removal is 36 months. Okay. Then your order of conditions that you handed to me just now says the overall site plan approved. Removal is to be done in phases, phase 1 and 2 as shown on the plan, to take an estimated 18 to 36 months to complete. Phase 1 contains area A, 358,200 cubic yards. Phase 2 contains area 1, 780,600 cubic yards. That total is 1,139,800. So right now we have 4,045,000. We have 1,139,000. And then on the plan dated June 29th, 2020, which you're going to provide the board with,
Yeah.
we have
No way around it.
4,160,000. So I thought I was clear at the last meeting that the numbers don't match up. We can't be operating this way. Particularly, I was hoping that Makepeace would be able to reconcile these numbers and say, oh, look, no, here's what's missing, here's what's missing. I mean, we have nothing right now. We still don't have answers, quite honestly, except the one thing that we do have that was stated tonight or today is that Bog 1 will be finished in 9 months. Bog 2 will be finished 10 months after that, and then their permit expires. So we now know unequivocally that they will not be able to do 4 bogs by the time the permit expires.
Right. Yeah, 4 million yards, you're not gonna move that out in a 5-year period, there's no way, not at 50 loads a day, and you guys have been very good with the 50. It's an impossibility, right? And you guys came in, I'm certain, knowing that at the time, that it would be a permit extension of some sort, close out, refile, re-go, right? I wasn't there, so I'm assuming.
No, and I think that's historically, that's the way things kind of move forward. You know, your permit was good for 3 year with a 1 year extension. So you essentially had 4 years before we needed to reapply with a new permit.
Right.
So when we write 36 months down on that, that was due to the terms of the bylaw that says we can only have a 3 year permit.
Right.
So that's why we didn't say it was a 6 or a 7-year permit. We went to what the limit
Of the,
of, that the bylaw.
the bylaw
told us
allowed
that
you.
they- Correct.
Right.
But the permit you got was for phase 1 and 2, and you said, you've stated tonight that you're already into phase 3 and 4 in some
Well,
areas, so.
The first sentence of that provision is the overall site plan is approved.
But not, it wasn't approved, it was approved for only 1.5 million yards or whatever that is.
It said
Because that's the way our permit process
what-
works.
All right, so what, I'm gonna ask town council's opinion on this on behalf of the board.
Right here.
Next steps for us, right now, in my opinion, we are, again, clear as mud, and I don't like to be in that position. What are our options, if you can answer that, Amy, please?
Sure, so your options are, you have, the permit is still valid. Again, the permit is valid, so, you have been informed that they're not gonna be able to make the, and they're not gonna make the end use of the permit. You can order them to come back for a modified permit, to have this permit amended, meaning they have to come back with a new permit to get to that end use. They have to do that in any event, because come August 6th of 2027, when they claim Bog 2 will be done, they would then have 6 days to do Bogs 3 and 4, which is an impossibility. So in any event, they're going to have to come back for an amended permit.
Well, can I stop you right there and ask this question? It is my understanding and belief that if after 5 years, if everything has gone on correctly, with the bylaw that we have today, it's a 1-year permit, 4 extensions if everything goes correctly. At that point, there is an as-built. Then there is a pit closure. And then, in fact, then they could come back at the very same time and ask with a new set of plans to continue. Is my mind chronologically working correctly?
Well, to get an extension after the 5 years, we need a new hearing.
It would be a brand-new ball of wax.
It's a public hearing.
Right.
You can do, I agree that the 1-year, terms are not, you do not need a public hearing for those.
Yep.
But the 5th time, because it specifically states that after the 5th time, you must have a public hearing, which you can infer that the first 4, you don't need a public hearing.
So at that point, we've done the first 5 years, they've come back with an as-built of that section, closed it out, and then reapplied with a new public hearing, votes, public discussion, the whole 9 yards, yay, nay, and then go forward, right? It's not, we cannot do an amendment past 5 years.
Right.
You're
Period.
correct. Well, unless they want to extend it beyond the 5-year period, but it's a full public hearing.
So
that-
regardless,
like I said, regardless, they'll have to come back to you for a full public hearing with either a modified decision or an official extension.
okay,
But again, even if the, even if the overall plan was approved, this decision that they handed me dated July 10th was based on the application that said 4,045,500 cubic yards. However, the plan says 4,160,400. So no matter what, we have a discrepancy with yards. And the other thing is that it seems pretty clear that this is only for, it says the overall site plan is approved, period. Removal is to be done in phases. Phase 1 and Phase 2, as shown on the plan, should take an estimated 18 to 36 months to complete, period. So
There's no phase.
it sounds that the approved plan was supposed to be 2 phases. Which doesn't make sense because they refer to Area A and Area 1.
right.
I don't know why it would not be letters and numbers, but there's just so many questions, and I guess I was hoping for answers, but
So, Bill, you had something?
Well, the drawings never have the word phases on them. The word phase comes out of the permit that was written by the town. So our drawings never indicate a phase.
So,
They indicate areas, correct?
Correct.
Do they indicate areas, do they have an area A and an area I?
No, there's a table on the upper right-hand corner of sheet ER number 2 that designates area A and area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that correspond to the areas that are designated on the plan.
So this would be for area A and then area 1, but we don't have 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Is that what you're saying?
What did we issue the
No.
permit for? Areas A and
A
areas
is
1?
Area 1, yeah.
That's what the permit was issued for,
Yeah.
and you're beyond that
And then
now.
it says actually right here, each phase is to be approved before moving on to the next phase. Right.
so that's the law of the committee at that point, right? So, and that's how this board has been operating with all of our permits that we've issued recently. Okay? Again, it's very difficult to unravel what was going on in 2020 when we weren't here at this capacity. So, back to my original question, Attorney Questle, where we can do a modified permit, would that be now, or would that be later on?
That's
We can't.
up to them.
Okay? So that's
But-
question A, or question 1.
But
What-
we have a permit here. I mean, there's a question, there's, without more answers, there's a possibility that they're operating
right.
without a permit right now.
That's what
If they're in
concerns
phases,
me.
if they're past phase 1, if they're past area A and area 1,
Right.
What I would,
take phases out of it.
what I'm gonna ask, Amy, is until we get this cleared up so we know exactly what's going on, what are our options then?
Our options are to, if they've been operating without a valid permit, then the operation, it has to be shut down.
Okay? So,
And they have every right to refile, they have every right to, file for a new permit. If the numbers somehow work out, I guess they have a right to file for a extension. It just seems to me that paragraph in the decision, number 1, I don't know how they get around it.
all right, so we could issue a cease and desist of operations today if we chose, correct?
You could, if you
Okay.
find that they're not, if you find that they are operating outside of,
And right now, we don't have enough information to know if they are outside of anything,
right, because.
right? Which is why we did what we did last month and asked for information to Attorney Questle so we could not have this problem. So, looking at the board for guidance here.
Well, without having an emergency meeting to give the applicant time to give us this information before we do ask them to cease and desist. And it wouldn't be until, February 17th that we would be able to get information from you so that we could look it over and have our legal. It's kind of a bad situation right now.
Is it in our purview, Attorney Questle, to have an emergency meeting out of our order, if you will?
It wouldn't be an emergency meeting.
We could just have an additional
You would
meeting?
schedule it for, yes, it's just an additional meeting. You would
Okay.
just schedule it for a different time, but you have to provide 48 hours of notice under the open meeting law.
Okay, so it couldn't be tomorrow?
Right.
Right,
Correct.
okay, I'm with
Well, I'm
you.
just trying to give the applicant
And-
some time to give us the information before we do that drastic step.
So how long would it take for you guys to, how long would it take you guys at Makepeace and GAF to get all the information that Attorney Questle has said now several times that she's gonna need?
I'm at a loss.
I think he's claiming he can't get
I
the,
don't know what,
But here's the crux of it, I think. is that you were issued a permit to operate in areas A and Area 1, and you're beyond that, so you're not in compliance with the permit you were granted by the board in 2020. Do I understand that
That
right?
is correct. And then the main question is that the application, again, says 4,045,500, but the plan, I think he has the plan, do you have the plan in front of you? Does the plan, the table on the plan, does it not state 4,160,400?
The revised plan, the one that you have, states that because there's 2.5 additional acres added to the project footprint between the original submission and the date that those plans were prepared and submitted to the town.
But the revised plan date is June 29th, 2020,
Yep.
and the decision is dated July 10th, 2020. Wouldn't the decision be based off that revised plan?
I don't know how it could be, but it wasn't submitted at the time.
So you're saying that the plan set dated June 29th, 2020 was not submitted before July 10th of 2020?
I don't have a record of when that plan was submitted.
So can you get us the plan that was before the June 29th, 2020 plan?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
But I think, if I could briefly.
Yes, please.
I strongly disagree with the assumption that we're not in compliance and that this is even up for, I understand it wasn't, look, none of us were here when this was written, but the understanding, the intent, if you look at the minutes, when asked how long this project would take, it exceeds what this permit says for phases 1 and 2. That's one. Two, it says to notify the board when we advance to the next, or enter into another area, which we've done. So you've got a board that's been notified we were entering into Area 3, which now is in potentially dispute. So that's at odds. What I'm trying to say is the board has been not fully aware that where we've been digging, we've had quarterly site visits where, and I think everyone has, I know I've been at a few where Bill had a site plan open.
yep.
And it's hard to digest the idea that this issued permit is now.
We're trying to understand the end use, like I said at the opening
Understood.
remarks.
Well, it sounds
Because
like you're now trying to.
end use right now looks like a sand pit floor.
I understand that piece, and we're definitely aware of that.
Of
Now we're
course.
talking about the way that the first provision in the site, in the order of conditions was written. So
that's
maybe
based on the fact that we didn't see any movement. We're just you're going at it in a, just again, hitting it with a loader into a tall bank. When it's been brought up, it's one of those things now that we're looking deeper into exactly what the order of conditions said at the time.
Mr. Chairman, even not being, none of us being involved when this was first issued, I guess my question is, does Area A contain a cranberry bog?
Area A.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Does Area 1 contain a cranberry bog?
Yes.
Okay, and that has not been completed. So therefore, there is no, they can't move on to phase 3, although.
They have, and they're claiming that they have,
there's no substantial completion piece here.
Each phase is to be approved before moving on to the next phase. Was phase 3 ever approved by this board?
I believe it was.
Absolutely, it was actually approved.
Yep,
The whole plan.
are you sure?
I think so.
Wouldn't you need another order of conditions for phase 3, 4, and 5? Because-
No, we don't issue another order of conditions for the other applicants either.
But this one, I think we should have.
We need to go
Well,
through the minutes.
whether we should have or not is irrelevant. Right now, we didn't. And we don't on the current other permits.
But each phase is to be approved before moving on to the next phase. So was phase 2 ever approved? I don't know how you could approve it, there's no cranberry bog.
But the way that's written, it would just be phase 1 and 2, or
Correct.
A and 1. Because there's no mention in that. So maybe out of compliance is, you're not working under a permit for
Right.
phases 2, 3, 4, 5.
And
I disagree. Just Just want, on the record, I disagree.
So, I think we've heard and talked plenty about this. What I'm looking for is next steps. So, obviously, the next step would be A, to let them continue to dig. That's obviously what they're looking for. What else is there under this board's purview?
You can issue a cease and desist because they are operating outside of an approved permit. You could give them the option to provide us with further information and then, make that decision at your next meeting.
So right now, I've got three. We can continue digging, we can cease and desist, or we could have them provide more info. Those are our three options. I'm just trying to synthesize this down for those of us on the board.
In phase 1, 2, and 3. To build this. So to get it completed.
I'd like to give them an opportunity to give us some more information or to prove why we're wrong, Mike. Why, I know you don't agree.
I take this very seriously. Thank you, Mr. Shores. I don't, we went through everything. I called the town, we talked to Kara, he talked to.
No, my hangup here is the actual permit that you have and the order of conditions.
Yeah.
State for 1 and 2.
I,
Right,
So,
this was
and
represented as the
it got
only-
past us, or we didn't understand it, or whatever the issue is.
Right.
That you went into to areas
3, 4.
2, 3, whatever areas you've gone into, but if we look back at what was actually approved, that's where the hangup is. You were approved for sections A and 1.
my opinion is just that it was badly written and she used the incorrect, I don't want to confuse anybody here, but I think there's several instances which tell me it was just badly written and that what the intent was, or what the order of conditions was to reflect the intent, which was a 6 to 7 year project. And I understand it wouldn't have been completed, but.
But that's why they did the
she-
million
she
and a
didn't-
half.
She simply didn't finish writing phase 3 and 4. If you look at the plan, which it says is approved in the sentence, all of the phases, the way that the areas are written on the plan all slide over different parts of the bog. So the intent was always to, like we said earlier, do a bulk excavation project, get it all down to grade, and then build the cranberry bogs on top of that. I mean, if we can go get like a letter from Mrs., whoever wrote this, Miss Whittemore, whatever. I don't know where else I could go other than it's our interpretation.
Well, the intent was to approve the plan, but they couldn't issue you a permit for more than
Whatever
the
timeframe that
3-year
was allowable.
period,
at
or
the
whatever
time.
it's a 5-year period, or it's
That could be.
the way the bylaw is
I
written.
would,
But
the idea
that was
up
the
until an
intent,
hour ago was that-
that's the way I look at their intent, was to
Right.
say, get this done first, and then get another permit, or get an extension for the next phases of it, the next areas. That's the way I read this. And I think you deserve the opportunity to come back and prove me wrong.
understood, yeah.
On that.
That's reasonable, but
But that's the way I see it, is that they knew that the whole project was going to take 6 to 7 years. I agree with you on that. But what they stated was, we can only give you a permit for certain portion of it because the way our bylaw is written. And that's what you got the permit for, but what you've done is gone beyond that with, by getting, I don't know, you tell me how you got the approvals to move on, or, come back to us, because I don't recall this level of understanding, at least from my part.
I didn't have this level of understanding with this particular permit either. So, again, to Roger's point, and again, Mike, to your point, there was a lot of us that, we weren't here then. And it's very difficult to understand somebody's intention or what they were thinking. The only thing we have to go by is the words written down in an order of conditions. That's what I have. That's the only thing I can sink my teeth into, is what was written down, what was approved, when it was approved, when it expires, and where we go from there based on our current bylaw today. That's how I see it. I can't speak to anybody's intent. I was not there.
So can you provide us with more information? Like, do you have, so when applications are submitted and given out and approved, everybody gets a copy of what they look like. Where is your copies of your orders of condition?
Right here.
Other than what the town clerk had on record? Like, where is your office copies?
So electronically, I have a copy, another copy in my binder here. Different folks at the office have copies.
Can we get copies of those? 'Cause,
Yeah, they're
I
all
mean-
exact copies of what,
All right, so then we're all going by the same
Yeah, and
ones that the town
Right.
clerk had.
I just want to make sure we're all operating off the same sheet of
Absolutely.
music. I
Right.
think that's what Judy
That's
said.
exactly.
At
I
a
wanted to
minimum,
s-
at a minimum, I would think, if our understanding is they have a permit for areas A and areas 1, that any work from this point forward should be confined to those areas until we have more information, or you can convince us that, you know, that you are indeed within your rights to operate in the other zone. So I would recommend more of
More.
a, not a cease and desist, but
More information.
an understanding that no work to be performed beyond areas A and areas 1 until we clear this up. Is there some way to do that?
Yes, if you make a determination that, that they are outside of what we have in front of us, they should confine their work to areas A and 1.
And then
or
allow
allowing
them
them to
Never built a
continue
cranberry.
with areas A and 1.
A and 1 and allow them to make a case to us as to why we should be able to work in those other areas.
Yep.
yeah, respectfully, Mr. Shores, you know, if you confine work to area 1,
That's all.
right? Because let's say area A is behind a fence now, okay? So area 1, you're not going to be able to complete a cranberry bog. The way that the plan is constructed and it was accepted, they sway, right? So, you know, we'll do what the board says,
But the way it was laid out is that it was that bulk earth removal first, and when you look at that first cranberry bog section, area 1, 2, and 3 comprise the footprint that first cranberry bog section is on. That's why that's
Level,
right.
but there's no bog.
Like, we could never put a bog there until
Because-
such time as that we
Right. So I
got
guess it was,
through phase 3.
I'm
And where are
looking
you
at
now?
a
You're
poor
through
plan.
phase 2? Or area 2? Are you finished with
It's
area
into
2?
area
it's
2.
into area.
What's that?
It's into area 2 for where cranberry bog 1 is. So
Well, where are you in overall digging as far as excavation? Or you said you're into area
3.
3. So is area 2 complete?
No.
Okay.
because the bottom line is you had to bring it down
If-
to a level before you could do anything. So all the excavation was before a bog could even be put in place, which was probably something, again, we weren't there, and trying to picture it in your mind that you never would have thought that you would have had to get through all those steps to get to the end use.
Well, I think part of our problem is that we need a copy of the plans each, and we need to have some time with it, obviously. Okay, so that goes back to the 8 sets of plans that we're gonna need from you guys.
The original plans.
Well, we want to work off of,
Well, we want the original and we want the revised.
okay,
And then any information as far as
how soon could you
when
get us those
present it
plans?
to the board?
The original plans.
The original and the revised set from the 29th of June.
I'd like to tell you that I can get them to you between now and the end of the week. I mean, it's just really printing the copies of the plans.
Okay. If you can
I'll
get
work
those
toward
to
that.
if you can get those to the town hall. I know, Jen, you're not in typically on Fridays, correct? So Jen will reach out to us the beginning of the week with 2 copies to each of the board members at that point.
And
And
then
she'll,
I'd like to know when this board approved them moving into areas 2 and 3, what we have as far as documentation through
They
minutes
should
or
provide us some information.
or
yep, there you go.
applications or anything like that.
Yep. Okay.
I'm not saying we didn't by any means.
I,
All right.
that sounds like a fair plan.
So Judy, I think you're gonna get your wish. We're gonna talk about our site visit. Because we're gonna need a set of plans, we're gonna need to have some time with them, each of us. We're gonna need to go out there and see this. Okay? I see no way around not having something to look at.
I know
guys-
we've been out there a couple of times and Mr. Madden has brought his plans and we've looked, but putting everything together, now knowing what has been brought to our attention, there's a lot of missing parts here and things have moved that shouldn't have moved before.
Well, there's a bunch of knowledge that we need,
Yeah.
right, to get forward. That's really what it is. And that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking to understand what's going on. You guys have heard me ask the attorney what we can do, how we can do it. This is a volunteer board, guys, and you know that. We're just trying to do the very best we can with the information we have. And that's why I always have Attorney Questle here with us, so she can answer those questions for us and for the town. So Jen will get us those plans, an email out to us the beginning of the week. So that gives you guys certainly the end of the week to get those over here to the town hall. That'd be great. Roger's just asked for the determination dates, the vote dates, when you can move into phase 2 and when you can move into phase 3. Anything else, immediate information that you guys on the board want to see from the applicant?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, please.
I think that Mr. Shores was asking for evidence of approval to move into Area 2 and Area 3.
That's correct.
Sorry, my bad thought and vernacular.
Well, it's confusing.
Probably that
Trust me,
The
I'm
phases
aware.
are off of the area. They're not on the same.
Area phases, 1, 2,
Same thing.
3s, understood. So
So
we,
Go ahead.
so far, are we clear on what we're looking for, guys?
When
Okay.
would you like that by?
Same time as the plans?
The end of the week?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we get a PDF of the plan sent to us?
Well, certainly by the time
I
we
can do
meet
that
with them,
tonight.
right? So when are we gonna do a site visit, or?
Well, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, but I would like to have all that information, because that
Yeah.
little bit of information digging is not, I don't think that's not a terribly heavy lift, I wouldn't think, to find out when those were approved. Okay. So, Attorney Questle, how do we move forward from here? Obviously, you know that we want to look at the plans, we want to go out to a site visit. How do we put not a period at the end of the sentence, but how do we go forward? Do we continue this? How does that work procedurally?
Well, it's not a public hearing.
Okay.
It's simply just an item on your agenda. And so I would, if you're looking for that information, and I agree 100% with Mr. Shores that right now, you know, this shows that they're only approved for Area A and Area 1. They need to provide us with some kind of approval to move into Area 2 based on this permit, or provide us with a permit that shows that they can do whatever they want, the whole thing, at any times that they want, which doesn't seem from this board's permits, but also previous board's permits, it doesn't seem like that's gonna be the case. They seem to have narrowed it down to certain phases or areas and approved those. And then, so you're going to do your site visit, you can, after your site visit, you can continue this to the 17th.
Okay,
And by that time, they should have, you know, all this, a lot of information to us, I hope.
okay. Well, right now, I would suggest that this board is looking for information.
100%.
Okay. You've heard what we can do. We can continue to dig, we can issue a cease and desist, or we can ask them to provide us more info, which is what Attorney Questle has laid out for us. My intention would be to have them provide the info that we've just talked about, we'd get out there and see it.
Yep.
And then we can, again, pick this up on February the 17th. That's what I would suggest, but I'm open for any other suggestions.
No, I agree. We want more information, and I think we should go out and see the site.
Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I feel bad for all of us here because of not having all the paperwork in place. And I think part of it was, and I'm not making excuses, but with the COVID and the extensions, I think there was a lot of miscommunication, and I don't know how some of the permits were even issued because nobody could meet in public. So it's like, how did these things happen?
So another piece of that puzzle is the record keeping in the town has not been
It
great
was
thus
not.
far. There was a move and there's a closet and such like that where, Jen, thank you very much for all the work you're doing to help us in that regard. And it's gonna take some time to get through all of this, which is why we're asking you guys for information. Because when Jen and Attorney Questle go through the closet and the books, we find all this information. So it's definitely a little bit of a treasure hunt sometimes. And that is unpalatable to everybody. So with that, we're gonna continue this discussion till the next meeting. Site visit dates, and you guys can hang tight right there because you're gonna need to be there as well.
17th work?
Today. 10th or the 17th or the 24th all work for me.
They're all good. Except this weekend is supposed to be, we already know.
January
These are
17th or 24th.
So,
I'll be gone the 24th personally, but whatever works for the board,
So,
we'll have an.
17th,
I think the 17th.
17th? 17th?
The 17th sounds fair in case there's weather changes, we'll still have time to do a site walk before the next meeting.
Then we'll just do this 159 Federal.
Correct.
Yep, that's just the only thing we're going to.
8 o'clock.
January 17th, 8 o'clock. That work for the both of you?
We'll make it work.
Or,
Thank
I know that Terry will typically be there with us as well. The one thing I will ask for, more than what we've just been chatting about, is throw some stakes in the ground so we can see what's going on. Okay?
With some type of a marker.
Just give us something that we can see where,
Areas 1, 2, 3, and 8.
where bog one, or whatever it's
somewhere
called
that-
on the plan will be. I don't have a plan in front of me, so show us where bog one starts and stops. And if there is a way that you can show us where bog two starts and stops, something along the lines to give us some visual cues. We need something, because again, it's a very big area, and it's easy to assume that you've got all the room in the world to build 2 or 3 bogs in there. Okay? You've got a plan, that's the one that we're gonna have you do the as-built by. So let's put it where it's gonna be, because that's obviously where it was intended to go anyhow. But give us some visual cues, so we can see it, and we're not talking about abouts or over there by the this. Okay. Anybody else have anything that's gonna make our lives easier on this site visit? That you-
The site visit, no, that sounds great. But for information, I guess, on the next one, especially where it keeps getting brought up, the controversy about the cubic yards being removed, can you give us your documentation that you have? We have some stuff that has been given to us that we get put in our book and on our lawn sheet.
Yeah, of course. It's based on the quarterly payments, of course.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Mr. Harrison? Mr. Shores?
Nothing else.
All right, guys, we will see you on the 17th of January at 8 o'clock. We'll meet right there at 59.
Who do I send everything to electronically?
Jen?
Send it to Jen.
Jen?
Yeah, or you can send it directly to Carver.
Thank you.
Yep. And then you can disseminate it out to the board as we see fit. We'll get all the paper. Again, by the end of this week, you can get it out to us, or let us know when to come pick it up. That'll work out great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
I can make motions on the next. Jen?
Yep, make it. I think I can stay to continue the
Yep.
stuff.
Been able to. So I'd like to make a motion, we continue the public hearing for Adga Realty LLC, located at 0 Fuller Street, map 49, lot 4-A, until February 17th
February 17th.
of 2026, at 3 o'clock in this room.
I second it.
I make a motion
Yep,
to,
so all in favor?
all in favor. I'm in favor.
Okay, aye. Further, like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for Adga Realty located at 0 Mayflower Road, map 122, lots 2, 4, 10, and 18, till the February 17th, 2026, in Meeting Room 1 at 3 o'clock.
Second.
Second.
Approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'd like to make a further motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that one. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate your time.